Here's a chance. We could all. I don't want to go all Del Boy, but we could all be millionaires this time next year. We dig down the back of the sofa and collectively come up with a few quid for our next guest. I got an email from Steve Rooms at knowhowaccountancy.com. He said, you really ought to talk to a man called Shane O'Neill. He's come up with an idea that could significantly reduce the cost to the NHS of recruiting staff. And to really make it work, he's going to need some backing. But Steve says that the invention could have saved one NHS trust more than £1 million in 1 month alone. So I thought, oh well, we've got to talk to Shane O'Neill, who's from Grimsby. He's in the studio this morning, who's invented something called Gogoflo. Shane, nice to see you.
Morning, Lindsay.
Morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's Gogoflo? What have you invented?
So Gogoflo is the first and only cloud-based nursing agency. So what I mean by cloud-based is that it uses mobile app technology, so a mobile app and a computer dashboard, to instantly and directly connect our cloud nurses, which are temporary agency nurses, direct to the hospital. If I can take you back to October last year, that's when we first came up with the idea. I'd been working up and down the country, probably in about 70 different hospitals, and I'd seen firsthand the staffing crisis in every single hospital. At the same time, there was loads of media and news articles saying that the NHS has got a big deficit, they're spending millions on agency staff, and it's not sustainable. So it got me thinking. I had a look at the way agencies currently operate, and they operate by having call centres up and down the country, full of salaried staff, salaried consultants, energy bills, heating bills, that kind of stuff. And obviously that kind of thing is hugely expensive. So agencies that operate traditionally need to charge sometimes double what the nurse is getting paid. So the nurse could get paid £20, and the agency will charge the hospital up to £40 an hour for that shift. Okay,
and that basically is coming out of NHS funds, which everybody says are tight, etc., etc.
Absolutely.
And you're right, there is always loads of stories, and it does my nutting, and the audience is nutting, thinking, how much are they paying for agency staff?
Yeah.
Why are they not employing nurses? So that's the background.
Yeah.
So tell us about Gogoflo then.
So Gogoflo removes that massive chunk of a middleman. We don't need offices up and down the country because our app does all the work. It's a smart app, it's intuitive, and it connects our nurses with the hospitals without the need for loads of frantic calls back and forth, high-paid consultants, so that huge chunk of a margin is completely removed. We don't need it, so what we do is we give that money back to the NHS and save them money by doing it.
So what sort of projection savings are you making then?
Well, like you say, it was about £1 million for that one trust alone, and if we sort of extrapolate that out across the country, we could save the NHS up to £400 million per year.
Wow. Have you pitched this to the NHS?
We launched publicly at the weekend. We've got 5 or 6 key members of our team that are clinical members. They work in hospitals across the region. They love the idea, so it's the stage now where we're going to be going to hospitals, private healthcare clients, residential homes, and pitching the idea to them. And we obviously actively seek them to contact us if they're interested.
And I understand you're looking for funding for backing for the idea. This sounds very Dragon's Den-esque to me.
Yeah,
what sort of funding are you looking for?
We're looking for about 300,000. We want to create essentially a national database across the country, and that's the way we're going to be effective, by having a huge database of nurses that can fill shifts quickly and cheaply at a reasonable rate.
So this would just be nurses, or would it be doctors and locums and everything like that? Because that's a big spend as well.
Absolutely. At the moment, it will be for nurses and healthcare assistants, and the collective phrase that we've got for them is cloud nurses. That's our new name for them. So we're not using agency nurses. We're getting rid of the stigma that they've acquired from agencies being bad named by the press. But it's not to say that we won't look at doctors in a couple of years' time, maybe.
You'll not be popular with the agencies, but you would be popular with the nurses. Presumably then the nurse negotiates directly with the hospital or the hospital trust.
Yeah, the hospital will set their charge. The hospital's in complete control of their budget, and the nurse will book a shift based on what rate is offered.
How can people find out more about this? Can they read more about it? You got a website or anything?
Yeah, we've launched a website at the weekend. That's www.gogoflo.com. We're on Facebook, and we'll be trying to get the word out as much as we can. We want to create a revolution. We want all agency nurses to migrate over, because at the end of the day, savings in the NHS doesn't just benefit the nurse or the hospital, it benefits both you and I.
It's almost like Tinder for nurses.
Absolutely, yeah. They match
it
to
is.
shifts.
They
can swipe right and they can swipe left.
I didn't know whether I was going to say that, but I'm glad you agreed.
You're more technical than I thought.
Yeah, but that's essentially it's like a dating site, but it's like an
Uber
employment
as well.
site.
If you've heard of Uber.
Yeah, right. Why has nobody else done it? You're ahead of the game here.
At the end of the day, I think the traditional agencies are established and they're set in the way and they're making a turnover. They're making profits. They're getting the shifts. Offered by hospitals at that high rate, and it's working for them.
Wow. Okay. Have you had any? We do get some big hitters financially listen to big hitters financially listen to the program. Have you had any sort of interest? Any potential investors? I know you've only just launched it.
Yeah, we've not particularly approached anybody yet. We're going to be doing that now, but I would seriously invite anybody to have a chat with us. We can go through the business plan. And talk about how our vision and how we think it's going to change the temporary staffing.
I do genuinely. I don't know a great deal about technology, as regular listeners will know, but I like the idea. I can see this because it is a huge bugbear for the national health and a huge bugbear for all of us. The amount they're spending on agency staff and agency nurses.
Yeah.
So if you can find something that reduces that costs and makes it more efficient for hospitals, and therefore more of the money goes further on operations beds, etc., and on nurses, then more power to your elbow.
Exactly. What we really need at the moment, Bernsey, is for any agency nurse that is out there to visit our website and pre-sign up. It takes 10 seconds to do, and that will help us plan our launch. We're hoping to launch in the East Midlands, but it'd be interesting to see how many nurses across the country are interested as well.
Well, I wish you all the best getting into all the NHS trust locally, nationally. Any chance you could get to the Health Secretary and pitch your idea, government?
We'll certainly try.
Might be worth having a word with Melanie on, if she's your local MP, or Martin
Absolutely,
Vickers.
Yeah.
And see if they might open some doors for
it. Needs to change, so we'll try whatever we can do.
No, I think, genuinely, Shane, it's a pleasure to meet you. I think it's a really good idea. All the best with it. We shall watch out for Shane O'Neill from Grimsby, Gogoflo. If you've any thoughts on that, or if you've looked down the back of the sofa and you've got 300 grand, give us a shout. You could be in at the ground floor. You could be a multi-millionaire by this time next year.